Steve Kerr, he had some interesting comments. This happened about last week. This is when the Warriors were dealing with some injuries. You know, when you come off a back to back, players are banged up. You may have to make a tough decision to sit some players. As fans, we buy tickets to expect to see some of our favorite players play. But sometimes due to the coach's decision, it makes sense. I understand it. You want to rest some players after back to back. It makes sense, especially if you have some players dealing with injuries already. However, Steve Kerr is offering a solution. He said the league is trying to address it by softening the schedule some. I think about it all the time. People are spending good money to see a team, and then someone doesn't play. That's not something I'm ignorant to. I know that it's painful. We've had a lot of discussions with fans over the years who have been in that situation. But ultimately, the player's health is the number one factor in our team's success, and even our fans' satisfaction, even our fans' satisfaction in the long run, because we want to keep guys healthy throughout the season. Ideally, it's a 65-game season and everybody plays every night. But good luck getting that passed. Maybe 70. So there has been a lot of discussion about the NBA schedule on the upper level, on the exec level with the Players Association. However, fewer games does mean fewer dollars in your pocket, fewer TV deals. It's a lot to consider. However, I feel like there needs to be some sort of thing to happen. And old school players will never support that. We had to go through this. Why can't you go through that? But this is coming from Steve Kerr, who played in that era and is also coaching in this era.
Yeah.
Even he's admitting to. You probably need to soften this some. Even though they do have advanced technology in today's game, even though they do have advanced benefits, easier travel.
Yeah,
it's still a factor. So
it is. I think to your point about the older generation of NBA players that had to endure the 82 game season. Yeah, I think it's fair to be like, all right, well, why do they get to have a shorter season? Because we had to do that. But the game has evolved, and just like how everything around the game with technology and travel and medicine, treatment, surgeries. If you know better, you are supposed to do better. And I think it's come to a point where we see guys like Kawhi Leonard taking, so many games off because of injury. And, like you said, you have to, at the end of the day, prioritize your health. And was it fair to those older guys that had to play all 82 games? No. But I think that it should be considered that, all right, well, I have this many knee injuries, and my shoulder's messed up from playing 82 games a year for 5-6 seasons in a row, whatever. If you know that you had to do that, why would you want to, push it down on everyone else that has, to go? And another reason why I'm on board with, all right, let's shorten the season. I love watching basketball. I watch basketball year round. Summer, I'm somewhere. Something I'm involved in is having basketball in it. But I do realize hey, it's really a physical battle to be doing this year round and having all these games. And I feel like if we don't shorten the season, if it goes on 82 games every season, we're just going to see fewer and fewer players playing. Kawhi, honestly, the Spurs had been doing load management because Tim Duncan and Tony Parker and Ginobili would have nights off. Kawhi came, he had nights off. So it's just a matter of, like you said, prioritizing health. And it honestly, yeah, while you probably get less TV deals, less money, quality is better than quantity in this situation. And you want, if you can, if a player, let's say, a player is doing 60 out of 82 games, if you shorten the season to 60, 65, 66 games, you probably get more time that, star player actually playing, which means you're going to get more people to come see them, in my opinion. But I mean, there's probably science and data analytics all to it, but I think Steve Kerr has a good point, and it should be, if not considered, I mean, if not anything else, at least considered.
Yeah, I think it's something to consider. We'll see. Just because it's an old way of doing things doesn't mean it has to stay that way. We change, we evolve. Another thing to consider is that how this looks stat wise. If you compare it to some other players, that could be potentially an issue. But they come up with so many different advanced metrics nowadays. It's like you can come up with any stats to justify whatever you want nowadays, basically. So it shouldn't be too much of an issue. So
Yeah.